Right, so this is the next gen or the all-new Ford Territory in the top-of-the-line Titanium X trim. Now, you can get this car in two trims, the Titanium and the Titanium X. The Titanium costs around 1.3 million pesos, while this car right here costs almost 1.6 million pesos. I'll put the exact pricing right here. But anyway, let's give this car a quick once-over. Up front, the grille has been very much redesigned. In fact, this entire car has been redesigned. It looks a little bit longer, a little bit more powerful. Still get LED headlights right here, what they call the bay to bay or coast to coast effect on the grille. It looks absolutely beautiful, especially in this color right here. This top of the line trim also gets 19-inch rims versus the 18s you get with the lower variant. You get a couple of cameras right here for your 360-degree view camera. Lots of chrome on the side. You know I absolutely love chrome. And you even have a panoramic sunroof up top. Very powerful lines below the belt line. Lots more curves. This car just feels much better. It looks much more premium compared to before. So you have Territory nameplate spelled out for you. Looks very elegant indeed. Very much in line with the newer Fords out there. LED headlights as well. Now, this top-of-the-line variant also gets a power tailgate. And right here, space is actually pretty good. It looks a little bit bigger compared to before. And you also get a space saver spare tire right there. Now, close this one up, and what's interesting, despite this car being a joint venture with yet another company, together with Ford, they still did brand the engine with an EcoBoost badge right there. Over inside, you have a very chunky leather wrap steering wheel, adjustable tilt and telescoping. Just like the previous Territory, you also get a lot of these faux wood, and they feel much better now compared to before. It looks like a Volvo, so much soft touch. This dashboard is just incredibly plush. This top-of-the-line variant also gets this two-tone interior, so you have some of this gray and black and blue stitching as well. Massive center console, massive space to put some storage items. You also get a wireless charging pad, a lot of 360-degree view cameras, wireless CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a rotary shifter, and this volume knob, which, yeah, that's kind of odd, but yeah, let's play with that next time once we get to review this car. That panoramic sunroof right there, 10-way power adjustments for your seating too. Your dual 12-inch touchscreens, first glance, it's pretty responsive. It's way more responsive compared to before. And now you also get physical buttons for your AC, which was a massive bummer with the previous generation. And that thing used to hang a lot. This one so far hasn't been hanging. And you also finally get back your ventilated seats, which they kind of removed in the latter of the previous generation Ford Territory. Now we get to drive the next gen Ford Territory in the top-of-the-line Titanium X variant. And right off the bat, the first thing you'll notice here is just how much more comfortable this car is. Now granted, we are driving this only around the Okada area, and it is pretty small, so we can't really get to test it out so much. But first of all, aside from the comfort, you get 20 more horsepower compared to before, 168 horsepower and around 250 Newton meters of torque. But that's not the biggest change right here. That extra power can be nullified by the extra weight of the extra size of this vehicle compared to the previous generation. But now, instead of having a CVT transmission or a continuously variable transmission, which usually rubber bands, this car now gets a dual clutch transmission, a 7-speed at that. So when you do put this car under hard acceleration, it's less jerky compared to before. It's quieter as well. And most importantly, in low speeds, you don't get that weird jerky action that, well, CVTs aren't really jerky, but I mean most dual clutch transmissions out there, which is a great thing for a dual clutch transmission equipped vehicle such as this one. Also, another thing we notice right here, turning radius is pretty good. Steering, just like the previous Territory, is pretty light, so excellent for the city. One more thing, it's a lot more quiet, or a lot quieter compared to before. We're not yet sure if it's going to be as quiet or quieter in the highway. We'll test that out in the full review next time. So this is the lower variant. What you're going to get here are smaller rims, 18 inches. You don't get a sunroof. You have a slightly smaller digital instrument cluster. The frame is the same, but the screen itself is a little bit smaller. Other things you don't get right here include adaptive cruise control, some ADAS features, but we'll check it out later on. Isaac Atienza from Go Flat Loud PH will be the one driving this car. So first impressions here at the back, space is pretty good. It's way better compared to the previous Territory. Then here you still do get your armrest with 2 cup holders. You get your own air vent still and a USB-A port. This also doesn't get that panoramic sunroof, but yeah, the headliner feels okay. Also, this this lower variant doesn't get that gray and light gray color, so you get this like blue on it. They call this peacock blue together with some black on it. And that's the screen I was talking about right there. It's a little bit smaller, but at least your touchscreen itself for the infotainment is still the same, and you still do get your rotary shifter. Color options include Panther Black, Blue Metallic, Lustrous Gray, Ruby Red, and Crystal Pearl White, exclusive to the Titanium X trim.